Hello, your friendly neighborhood Mr. Stone here, and today we're going to be talking about congruent triangles and really how to know if two triangles are congruent to each other based on limited information. We don't need to know everything about the triangles to know that they are congruent. So, for starters, let's get some terminology cleared up right away. When I put down S, I'm talking about a side of a triangle. And when I put down A, well, I'm just talking about an angle. All right. So the first way we can prove that two triangles are congruent is to look at the sides. If I have three sides that are congruent, then the triangles will be congruent. And these sides are congruent to each other, these two are congruent to each other, and then finally these down here are also congruent to each other. This is a pretty easy one to actually picture, I think. If you've got three sticks or three straws or anything with any sort of length that are fixed, you really can only make one triangle with those sides. So if you've got three congruent sides, they will always give you the same triangle. Those triangles will be congruent to each other. That's one. Let's take a look at another one. We'll call this one SAS. Okay? You've got two sides. Now the order for these is very important. Notice that the angle is sandwiched between there. So let's say you've got two triangles such as this, where you know that this side is congruent to this side is congruent to this side, and this angle is congruent to its corresponding angle over here. Both sides have the angle sandwiched between them. Okay, that is very important because if they are not, then we lose that guaranteed congruency. But for this, you can think about it as so. If you have got everything here except maybe this top little bit, imagine that's gone for a second. There's really only one way to connect this part to over here, and that will give you the same thing as over here. You will know that this last side is going to be congruent. There's only one way to connect the endpoint of that of the side to each other. So side angle side is another way that you can prove that two triangles are congruent if you have that information. All right, let's take a look at another sandwich here. This time we're going to look at angle side angle. So if you've got another pair of triangles here, and you know this side is congruent to this side, and this angle is congruent to this angle, and this angle over here is congruent to this angle over here. Again, you've got a sandwich set up here where these angles, if you extended them really, they've got to intercept at this point. You're basically setting the point where these, if we made them into rays that would go on, where they would have to intercept. There's only one place that they can do this. So if you have angle side angle, if you know those are congruent in the corresponding parts, remember that the order is important, then you will have two congruent triangles. Okay? And the last one we're going to look at here that will work is angle side. So if you've got a triangle like this, sometimes my triangles look a little bit like the number 4. Alright. So let's say you know that this angle is congruent to this angle right here, It's congruent to this angle over here. And order is important here, so I've got angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Notice we don't have a sandwich here. But the only way that I could get this to work is by having the same sides all around. These angles are pretty much telling us exactly where the only route we could take. I think of it as like kind of like a trip, maybe down Milwaukee Avenue or something like that. Okay, that's the only way that we could get back to our original starting point, if you want to think of it as a journey around the triangle. Alright, this is the last of our 3-letter combos that will work. Well, let me tell you briefly which ones will not work. Okay, side, side, angle will not work. Okay, do not use side, side, angle. No such thing. Will not guarantee congruence. Angle, angle, angle. That could tell you that you've got two similar triangles, but you're not guaranteed that they're going to be congruent, because while this one might be, you know, a side length here, you could have it maybe 1 centimeter. This one could be like, whoop, this one over here could be like 1 light year in length. They'll still be similar, they'll still have congruent angles, but we have no side really to put this in any sort of frame of reference. So we could have, you know, just a pretty regular, normal kind of tiny triangle over here, and this huge, gigantic triangle that could like eat the solar system. Okay, that is that's pretty big difference there. That's what angle, angle, angle can prove, that two triangles are similar. But since we don't know the side, it would not work for congruence. Okay? So again, just to recap, our 4 triangle congruence theorems are... What was our first one? Side, side, side. How about number 2? Side, angle, side. That was our first sandwich, and you know what? I would like to have another sandwich. Perhaps I am hungry. Angle, side, angle. And then our 4th and final. Angle, angle, side. Remember, order is important. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I hope that you are having a wonderful, fantastic day. So, review this if you need to. Have fun with it, and I shall see you more soon.